Welcome to the Killshot MMA podcast. It's UFC 319, Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev for the UFC middleweight title. I'm Sniper. That's Monk. Coming off a big week for us last week. There were optimals everywhere at DFS Army. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel because we hit the optimal building on that show. The cash game lineup got across the line for the show on Thursday. Thursday did a cash game lineup, cashed every double up. Friday, built the optimal. Betting on the betting card, not fantastic because I got sucked into the Cody Brundage trap like a big fat fucking idiot. That's on me. But still plenty of money was made for DFS Army members on Saturday. You want to join? It's a good week to do it. A lot of big contests this week. Link in the description and all my bios. Make sure you sign up. Use your code SNIPER. Get yourself a discount. We'll see you in the Discord. And smash the like button of this video. Kind of make up for last week. Big intro there, Monk. I know I was excited because I had a huge week last week. How was your last Saturday night?
Same. Got, I think, tied for fourth in the Ironman because for some reason, somehow, I haven't had a duplicate lineup in that contest all year, and now it's been 2 weeks in a row. But we still cashed some decent points there. Eli Smith, my goodness, what
that
a fantastic!
That was one of the most violent things I've ever seen in my life.
I assumed Herb Dean was reffing, and when the guy finally stopped the fight, I was like, "Oh, it's
Chris,
not."
No, it was Chris Tognoni, and then he laughed about it. He was the guy who told Matt Schnell, "I don't know what was worse, you getting knocked out or how hard your head hit the canvas." It was that guy.
So ridiculous. And then my girl Jossie Edwards came through huge in that one. So pretty good week this last week. We'll keep it moving. We got 11 fights to go over, many more to come, so we'll try to nail these 11.
More about that in a second. We'll stop victory lap and we'll look on to the next card. All right, this is going to be a 14 fight card. However, on this show we record Tuesdays because if you're not first, you're last. There could be some other people out there, but I'm pretty sure we are the earliest and best DFS show out there. But because of that, we don't have salaries for 3 fights. They're the tough finale. That's right. They're still doing Ultimate Fighter. And you know what? If you like fights, guys, watch the show. And the guy, Alibi Idris, who's going to one of the announced finalists already, that dude's legit. There are 2 tough finale fights. I can't tell you the other one because it's airing like now. I don't want to do spoilers. And they also have not priced. Deone Barbosa was supposed to fight JJ Aldrich. Aldrich is out. Sorry, I messed that up. Karine Silva was supposed to fight JJ Aldrich. Aldrich is out, and obviously Deone Barbosa is in. They have not yet priced that fight. So just like we did last week for the fights not announced yet when we do the show on Tuesdays, all that stuff is going to be in the Discord and on the cheat sheets for DFS Army members. Make sure you go and check that out. They'll be part of on my YouTube channel, Sniper Wins. Make sure they'll be part of the cash game and GPP discussion. But the full fight breakdowns I don't do on those shows. Those will be only for DFS Army members. Now that we got to the intro, by the way, reminder, as I said, we do these about Tuesday between 8 to 9:30-ish Eastern time. Notifications go out on my YouTube and Discord. If you're here, first of all, I see 15 of you already and more will flow in. Welcome. Thank you. Drop a comment. Ask questions. Say some funny shit. We'll be with you guys in the comments. We'll address them throughout the show as we go. All right. I think that's enough of the intro. I'm done asking Monk which side of the card he wants to start at. So let's just go ahead and tackle this card. By the way, canceled fights. Gaethje Pimblett canceled. Man, I wish we had that fight.
I know. Oh, my God.
Is
it rescheduled or just canceled?
I think canceled as of right now.
Okay.
I will look that up on another screen. I offhand do not remember. By the way, this card top to bottom, really fucking good. Like this is one. I'm glad the pay-per-view model's going away, and unlikely I'm going to actually pay for it because why? I'll just go to a sports bar or open up my computer, whatever it may be. If there was a card I was going to pay for, this ain't far off. This is a really spectacular card. All right. First 2 fights on fight odds, though, are ones we can't talk about. Alibi Idris, Joseph Morales. Hint, hint. Alibi's really good, guys. Really good. I haven't rewatched enough Silva Barbosa tape yet. The odds here, I assume, are going to make this a little bit rough, but I can't see a world in which I'm not taking Carini Silva there. But in terms of DFS breakdowns, got to join DFS Army for those. Let's talk about, the first fight to talk about, crazy enough, is Nursultan Ruziboev and Brian Battle. The odds on this one caught me off guard pretty immediately. Brian Battle's minus 170. Nursultan Ruziboev is plus 145. Fight ends inside the distance, I believe. Yep, is minus 155. So expected to see a finish here. Your DraftKings salaries. Battle's 8,600. Ruziboev is 7,600. Monk, I won't jump ahead. I'll let you do your breakdown first. Give us the stats here. But are you as surprised as I was by the odds for this one?
A little bit surprised. Even the fight inside the distance at minus 155 is not great. And both of these guys are finishers. That's the thing. You would think that's a lowish number and that you got to jam this into every GPP lineup that you have, but I don't really see that. Only let's see, 3 finishes total in 11 losses, 3 finished losses, I should say, in 11 total losses between them. And really, Ruziboev, if he doesn't get a first round finish, I mean, I know he's 7,600 this week, which is nice. But if he doesn't get that first round finish, and that's kind of difficult to do against Battle, I don't know that he's really going to pay off his salary. I mean, he could, obviously 76 is easier to pay off, like I just said, but he's got a ton of submissions. He's never even attempted one in the UFC. In fact, his sub line is plus 1,000, even though he has 20 submission wins, which is insane. He got out-grappled by, not out-grappled, but yeah, he did, by Dustin Stoltzfus, 5 minutes of control to 3.5. Mechanico didn't do much. Buckley out-grappled the shit out of him, 4 of 4 takedowns, 5.5. He beats Dumas, Ferreira, Mechanico, and Stoltzfus, which was an extremely close fight, that last one. Brian Battle, I don't trust completely. I mean, he's beating Green, Fletcher, Kevin Jusette. The Randy Brown win is a good win, and it was very close, but he went 0 of 6 for takedowns. Does get control time, though, more than Ruziboev on average. So I just think the longer this fight goes on, the more likely it is to, this is probably a dumb thing to say out loud, but the less of a chance it has to finish inside the distance. Meaning if this gets to, it was a really weird thing to say, but if this gets to the third round is what I'm trying to say, it's probably going to decision, and nobody's going to score well. I don't think either one of these guys I'm really going to be just jamming into my lineups. I mean, when Battle wins, it's usually by a finish, and Nursultan is difficult to finish. And same thing, goes for Nursultan and Battle. In fact, the only times Nursultan has paid off his salary is when he wins inside the first round. Even the Mechanico fight he won in just, right after the second round started, he scored 99, but didn't make the optimal. He was 9,200 that week. So if he scores 99 this time, he's probably there, but Battle just, he's going to have to make some mistakes. This is a high variance fight that I think is going to decision somehow. So I'm going to be a little bit under on this one as a whole. I picked Battle, but it's a tough one, man. It's pretty 50-50 to me, and this line is way too wide, like you alluded to.
It's way too wide to the point where I'm going to pick Nursultan Ruziboev. I think we got a little bit of recency bias because he did not look good against Dustin Stoltzfus. The fight he still won. I think he took his foot off the gas a little bit against Mechanico, is kind of what I think happened in that one. Like, played it super safe the first round, like fine. Joaquin Buckley, taking nothing away from that. I mean, it's Joaquin Buckley, didn't look good there. But I think we're overreacting a little bit to Stoltzfus, whereas Brian Battle, what stands out to me is Randy Brown was able to take down Brian Battle twice. Battle's got 53% takedown defense. Nursultan Ruziboev, I think, is going to be able to get takedowns. I think he's the bigger puncher on the feet. Brian Battle's live. This is one I'm going to be a little bit overweight to both sides, probably, because there's a lot of fights where I'm really sketchy on the upside this week. So there's not too many. There's some weeks where, like, you got to get a ton of this fight, a ton of this fight, a ton of this fight. Don't really think that's the case this week. So this one is one where I do want to get more than the average. I'll be over to both, but I'm going to take Ruziboev straight up here. I think the line is overreacting to a couple of weird performances. I think he's physically better than Battle. I think he can get takedowns in the spot. Give me Ruziboev to spring the upset, starting the night with the upset. I will say, I don't think Ruziboev is someone, picking him, I'll probably be staying away in cash games. There are some other cash game spots we can talk about here in just a second. Our good friend Nan is back. Let's see what he's going to say. Brian Battle going to make tennis sounds in the bid for the decision. So are you saying that Nan, are you saying Brian Battle is the male version of Caitlin Sermonara, formerly known as Caitlin Chukagian?
Hiya.
Which, by the way, don't say that to Brian Battle because he may make those. He's a scary individual.
That's true.
I've never seen somebody change persona from Brian Pooh Bear Battle to Brian the Butcher Battle, from looking like a literal Pooh Bear to a psychopath, yeah. Which is good branding. Like, I mean, he looks like a fighter, but it was, transformation is scary. All right, let's go ahead and let's move on to Edson Barbosa in the second fight. Well, not the second fight, but second fight we got to talk about. Buried on the prelims is Edson Barbosa. Take it on Drakkar Klose. Barbosa minus 150. Klose is plus 130. I would assume fight goes to decision. And yes, that is favored at minus 150. Two strikers. I see red flags, but I'll let Monk get into the stats. Your DraftKings salaries for this one. Barbosa, it is a mid-range fight. 8,300 for Barbosa. 7,900 for Drakkar. Monk, who you got?
Yeah, I picked Barbosa to win. That's really the only side I can throw a decent amount on as far as DFS goes, but I'm with you. I got this as like a 3-star fight. I just don't. This could easily be just
2.
Yeah, you're right. Easily be somewhere in the middle there. It's just going to be a stand-up affair. Barbosa has the slightly worse defense as far as striking. He has the takedown defense, but Klose, he lands 0.55 per 5 minutes. Does control 60% of the grappling time, but his leg striking defense is only in the 22nd percentile, and Barbosa is legitimately one of the best leg kickers. His legs are one of the best weapons out of anyone in this division, maybe even the UFC overall. So I'm looking forward to watching this. I'm not really looking forward to playing it. Klose, his best win, the only time he's made the optimal lineup is against Brandon Jenkins. So, Edson Barbosa is nowhere near Brandon Jenkins, even at 39 years old. No one makes, optimals for the most part in close fights. Barbosa actually is kind of the opposite. 3 times in 3 wins somehow, and his opponents have made it twice in 3 losses. So despite not ever scoring well for the most part, he is still finding his way onto optimal lineups pretty consistently, all against, Sadiq Youssef. I know that was a 5-rounder. Quarantillo, we got the first round finish, scored 108. And then I believe it was Shane Burgos who that was the scary ass knockout, I believe, in the 3rd round. Where he scored 94 at 78 and still made the optimal. So if he can get a win and put up 90 points, I like my chances there. I probably like him a little bit better for cash. But that said, I'm not huge on this one for cash overall. And Drakkar Klose has very good striking. He has very good offense actually all around, outlanding his opponents by 0.8 strikes a minute. I already said the takedowns and control time, but he averages just 86 points per win, and his opponents average just 87 when he loses. So kind of a black hole as far as DFS goes. And if this goes to decision, which I believe it is slated to at minus 150, I like Barbosa here, and the salaries are close enough that, I can play Barbosa at 8,300 and still probably feel comfortable as long as he wins 2 rounds. So give me Barbosa, but like you said, 2 to 3 star fight.
Yeah, and pretty much all that exposure for me is going to be on the Barbosa side. It's going to be a stand I'm going to take here. Pretty much agree with everything you said. I don't expect Klose to be able to successfully grapple against Barbosa. Barbosa, by the way, they're both towards the back end of their careers. Like, surprisingly enough, Drakkar Klose is 37. I think Barbosa is 39. So Barbosa will be the better striker. I think be a little bit quicker. Klose. This could be a close fight, but
nice.
The upside's got to be on Barbosa. If Drakkar wins, it's probably a striking-based decision, maybe a takedown. I don't think he does much. Whereas if someone's going to land something explosive and big, I think it's Barbosa. And I think he wins the fight on top of that more often than not, that if I'm going to take a stand on one guy, striking minus 150 to go to decision, this is one I can't play both sides of. You're going to just cut away too many chances to win. I'm going to have to take a stand on it. I'll go with Barbosa. I just think he's better. Kind of simple analysis there. Give me the guy who I think is better, and not much exposure though overall. Going back to Nan, by the way, you got comments, guys. Drop them in. Happy you're here. Nan's one of the most active guys. Split the armbar 2 weeks ago. I do remember some of what you guys say. That's good because I ate shit 2 weeks ago. I'm glad we hit the optimal last week, but I ate a big old bag of shit. So maybe you didn't remember what we said, but that's part of the thing. If we're here first, sometimes you get lost in the echo chamber. It's a fun thing. I've watched. So we do all our stuff Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm pretty much done at that point. I'll watch some stuff Friday, kind of see what competitors are doing, and a couple of times I hear some things that sound familiar from either you or I, Monk, and I'm like, I wonder, is that coincidence or
sometimes, but probably not 100%.
Yeah, there are some small ones, and it's why I went early too. You can get sucked into the echo chamber.
Yeah, and I don't have time to listen to anything at this point in the week, and nothing's out yet, so I'm
exactly
all our stuff.
That's what it should be, and not everyone does that who comes out late, guys. There are some.
True.
I'm not going to name names. There are some I think who most people know are full of shit. All right, we'll move on and we'll talk about Alexander Hernandez and Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper yet again is the most expensive fighter on our card. He's minus 320. Comeback on Alexander Hernandez is plus 270. Fight ends inside the distance is minus 140. The alluded to DraftKings salaries. Hooper, while he is the most expensive fighter on the card, not really going to break the bank. 9,300, and that is most expensive fighter on the card as of now. We got 3 fights to add in, and I'm suspicious that we're going to get at least one fighter price higher than Hooper. But right now he's 9,300. Hernandez is 6,900. Monk, who you got?
I really like Chase Hooper here. Both guys have pretty terrible defenses overall. Hernandez will shoot for takedowns and control time. First of all, he gets outstruck in 5 of his last 10 fights, which is not great. I mean, he's fought some okay names. He's beating the guys he's supposed to beat, and he's getting smashed by the guys he's going to get smashed by. But he tends to, if the striking's not working in rounds 1 and 2, he tends to stick with, shooting panic takedowns and trying to just stop everything by controlling the fight, whether that's on the ground or against the cage. That is not something that's going to work against Chase Hooper, who is phenomenal grappler, as we all know, tons of submissions. But what might be going under the radar, probably not anymore, because in his last few fights, he's dropping tons of freaking volume, but he averages 4.5 strikes a minute while getting hit with only 3. Hernandez lands 4.3, but absorbs 4.6. So Chase Hooper is out here, learning how to strike a little bit better, learning how to mix all the martial arts a little bit better. And I think he's going to be better than Hernandez pretty much everywhere. He's got a 4-inch height advantage, 2-inch reach advantage. Southpaw versus orthodox might make some of those entries for Hernandez a little bit more difficult. But like I said, if that's what he's looking to go off, go to is the wrestling and grappling. When he starts to get punched in the face too much, that game plan is not going to go well for him against Chase Hooper. So give me Hooper, who has great offensive stats all around. And I think he can pay off this $9,300 salary, even if this goes to decision, which is most likely. Hernandez has been KO'd 3 times and subbed once. I guess the inside the distance, actually, it's most likely in my head, but the ITD line is minus 140 would suggest the opposite. So, yeah, I'll be playing a Chase Hooper in probably all formats. Hernandez could be a decent punt if this goes to decision, but by decent, I mean he might score 35 points at 6,900. So give me Chase Hooper, and that's what I'll be focusing on for tournaments.
Yeah, in the last 5 years, by the way, shout out to Soups. He also is one of the people I think who chopped up a bunch of money last week at the top of the DraftKings leaderboards. In the last 5 years, Hernandez, anytime he fights somebody's good, he loses, and somebody bad, he wins, with the exception of Jim Miller.
Right.
But other than that, I think it's pretty. I mean, Hollabaugh, Hubbard, split decision, decision, lost to Damon Jackson, lost to Algeo, lost to Quarantillo, Moicano, like. He's just kind of okay all around. And I think Chase Hooper is much better than okay all around. Like you said, Hooper's improved his striking. It's hard to really gauge exactly how good, but it really just needs to be serviceable to get to his grappling. And I think it's more than that. His volume is good. Remember, Alexander Hernandez once won a fight where he landed 25 significant strikes over 15 minutes.
Yep.
It's one of the worst fights I've ever seen. If you want to go back and tune in there, like that was, man. 71% takedown defense is interesting and a little bit of a step up for Hooper. I think it's just good on them to kind of, this is the right next step between Fiore, Levitt, Slava Claus, Guida, Miller. Hernandez is the right next step. They're building Chase Hooper right. I think he's going to come through here. I think he's safe in cash. I think he's got good GPP upside. I don't love a lot of the 9K and up pay-ups. In fact, other than Prates, but there's some scoring holes in everybody above 9K right now. I think Chase Hooper is clearly the best play above 9K. Definitely for cash games. GPP, I can make a couple of arguments. But I like Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper is safe up at the top. It's probably going to come down cash games between him and Alibi. And I got to see exactly what they're going to price Alibi at. But regardless, I like Chase Hooper a bunch. I'm going to be way under Alexander Hernandez. And if he pulls one off here, kind of so be it. I will chase the dream. One of the best nicknames, by the way.
He's 25 years old. That's so awesome.
He's something, man. All right, Jessica Andrade and Lupi Godinez. Andrade is the dog at plus 125. Godinez is minus 145. Fight goes to decision, minus 275. DraftKings salaries, if I can pull it up here. Lupi's 8,400. Andrade is 7,800. So the line is moving towards Godinez, where you're getting some line value on Godinez. I think Andrade is not going to be high owned. I wish I could say I disagreed with it, but it sounds about right to me personally. Get to the breakdown in a second. Monk, what you got on the stat side?
I like Loopy here. Jessica Andrade is she can't pick a freaking weight class. First of all, she's 3-2 in her last 5 at strawweight, I believe. So we are moving back down for her. She just came off losses to Double J and Natalia Silva at flyweight. 2 very good opponents. She beat Rodriguez and Dern, 2 very good opponents at strawweight. I mean, she's losing to the best of the best, like Suarez, Jan X, Aaron Blanchfield. Like, she's fighting. I mean, obviously she's got this will be her 30th fight in the UFC. So she's fought everyone. Lupi Godinez, I just think she is probably not going to get knocked out. And that's really Andrade's lone path to a decent score here. That said, this minus 275, to go to decision line is not the best to target. And honestly, if we knew Godinez was going to attempt 5 takedowns like she did against Reed, or 8 takedowns like she did against Carnelossi, or 12 against Lukbunmi, then I'd say you got to play her in all formats. But we don't know that. Sometimes she'll shoot 10 takedowns. Sometimes she'll shoot 1. So we have no idea how she's going to perform ever. Like, out of nowhere, it was 11 against Pilastri. 3-0, 1, 5, 1. We have no idea. It's all over the place. So I'm going to pick Godinez. This is a 3-star fight for me just because the salaries are so decent. I think she's probably good in all formats. I like her to get the win here because while Andrade is only 33, there have been a few fights where she's looked a bit older than that as far as fight age. So she should have the much, much better volume overall, although Lupi does increase her strikes by almost 1 per round, 1 per minute throughout each and every round. So I do like that. The control time, the takedowns are all better than Andrade for the most part. But other than that, they're pretty even. I just like Godinez a little bit more. I thought she might have a big height and reach difference, but that is not the case here. They're about the same size. So it does worry me that Andrade is back to strawweight. So her power is going to translate because it's always translated any weight class she's fought in, any of the 3 at this point, I believe. But I think Lupi can weather it. She's very tough to finish. In fact, she's never been finished ever. So I like Lupi by decision. 83 or 8,400 is a decent enough price. 8,400. I like her in all formats. So give me Godinez. It's kind of like the Edson Barbosa fight, to be completely honest. So you're not really going to get a ton of upside, but it could be serviceable enough to get the job done at a lower favorite salary.
I think you got some sneaky upside here on Lupi. I like Lupi quite a bit. I'll read the tea leaves here. I think she is going to shoot takedowns. I felt that way, early enough. The one that was concerning was the Angela Hill fight. Like, that's weird. Okay. But if you move on here, Calvillo, BJJ player, Duco outstruck her, did get a takedown. A little weird here. But in the last 5, Elise Reed, not a wrestler, took her down 5 times. Ricci, BJJ player. By the way, this win is aging fantastic.
Yeah.
Virna, don't fuck with Virna on the ground. Dern, don't fuck with Dern on the ground. And she still took her down twice. Pilastri, not a wrestler. Andrade can be taken down. She showed that weakness before. You don't want to strike with her because of her volume. I'm going to assume, and that's dangerous here, but I would think if Loopy's going to win this fight and she's favored, she's going to get takedowns. Agree, even if you on the Andrade side, it's a rough-ass DFS play because if she wins, it's 3 rounds of striking at a mid-range salary. I don't think it pays off, whereas Loopy has got the grappling upside to put up a very, very large score. Like there was a fight last week where who was it that just laid in their opponent for 3 rounds and it was a terrible look, but it scored massive.
Let me look at the
God.
little art. It was last week?
Yeah, it was last week. I have to pull it up.
Was it Julius Walker?
Yes. Walker scored big, even though because he had a knockdown, he had 6 takedowns, a shit ton of control time. The pity, like it's a big score. Discord was going, this is going to be shitty. I'm like, no, guys, this is optimal. Like this is a problem. So I think that kind of game plan is in play here. I'm going to take Loopy to win using her grappling. And even if you disagree, I'm telling you Loopy's one with the better DFS upside. Now watch Andrade go out and flatline her, but that seems like a very low percentage outcome.
Yeah. Well, and like Chase Hooper, her striking's gotten even better. She's up over 4 strikes a minute while Jessica eats 5.5. So I like it.
Let's do spoiler alert here. I already took one dog. We started the night off with a dog in Nurselson Ruziboev. Let's fire out another one. And I'm wondering, you got to tell me if this is going to be kill shot eligible. Because the fight's going to be chalk. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk taking on Gerald Meerschaert, GM3. Oleksiejczuk is minus 220. That's right. I'm going to make a case for old man GM3 at plus 185. Fight ends into the distance, minus 350. You better be playing this in GPPs. Load up, especially on this card. Your DraftKings salaries. Oleksiejczuk is 9K. Meerschaert is 7,200. Monk, where you going?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if this is going to be kill shot eligible just because everyone's going to play it. This is one of 2 5-star fights. Spoiler alert. You can probably guess the other one. But one of 2 that I have this week. Just play both sides. I'm on the Oleksiejczuk side personally. When Gerald loses, he gets knocked out. When Mikhail loses, he gets submitted. So just play this one.
Yep.
Mikhail is with, the fighting nerds now. So hopefully, I only say that to say, hopefully he is improving his grappling defense. I know it's not going to go from 0 to 10.
He's just improved his barking at ghosts. Like
that too. Maybe that'll help. Who knows? Probably not to a veteran like GM3 though, who is legitimately a good fighter, but he loves to get his ass whooped and then throw up a triangle in the face of defeat. So we could always see that if this gets outside the first round, it's constant lookout for that from GM3. But I'm going to be on the Oleksiejczuk side. He's lost to Ferreira before that dude completely fell off. Lost to Kevin Holland, who's a decent loss, and then Shara Magomedov, who I can't stand, but is also a decent loss. Outside of that, it's Kyle Bahayo and Dustin Jacoby. So he's losing to good fighters, and he's beating, the decent to shit fighters that he should beat. So, and I'm not saying Gerald Meerschaert is a shit fighter by any means. I think he's probably in the decent category. So he's getting up there in age as well. But again, always look out for that late submission, or if Mikhail makes a huge mistake, which is definitely possible, look for that sub. But also we've seen Meerschaert, get, who is it? He got Joe Pyford pretty bad. When else did he get? He got subbed by RDR as well. So he can be finished. He can be, dealt damage early. Probably not looking for a sub, obviously, from Oleksiejczuk. But the knockout ground and pound KO is definitely in play. So I picked Oleksiejczuk, but either way, whoever you're picking, play this fight heavy in GPPs.
Let me make a case for old man GM3 as alluded to. Look, you got a submission specialist in Gerald Meerschaert. Yeah, when he loses, he's lost to wrestling aces and guys or Tavares has got top level takedown defense. Rainier de Ritter, we saw what he is. Petrosky's a wrestler, and this was split decision. Pyfer, a giant human being with good takedown defense. Jocko, I would argue Krzysztof Jocko is a little bit underrated, but fine. And then he's beaten all these other guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beating the Shabazian win.
Shabazian win's big.
So now I got Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, who's got 48% takedown defense, and I get Gerald Meerschaert at this price. Cool. So while I'm picking GM3, this way, I'm going to be all in on this fight because I think it's a very binary fight. Somebody's going to score big. If it doesn't, I'm probably not going to hit the optimal this week. The way I'm going to approach is I'm going to decide how much overweight I want to be on GM3 and then just play the rest with Oleksiejczuk. And that'll get me at least field weight on Oleksiejczuk, maybe over on both guys. This is one I really like. I think Oleksiejczuk either finds him early or GM3 gets him down and gets a sub. Pretty straightforward, and the prices are reasonable, 9,000, 7,200. Load up in GPP, but 48% takedown defense against Gerald Meerschaert. For a guy like Oleksiejczuk, yeah, I'm going to take a shot on the dog here in terms of the straight-up fight pick. Let's move on and let's talk King Green against Carlos Diego Ferreira. Actually, if I'm going to call him King Green, I should just call him, was it just Diego Ferreira he goes by? He dropped the C, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So King Green against Diego Ferreira. Ferreira, minus 150. Comeback on King Green is plus 130. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 155. Things are changing for King Green. He's been finished in 3 of his last 4. A little bit concerning there. I'm sure Monk will get to that. Your DraftKings salaries. Ferreira is 8,500. King Green is 7,700. Monk, where you going?
I picked CDF here, Diego Ferreira. I know he is 2-4 in his last 6, but all the guys he's lost to, not only are they fantastic, Dariush, I'll always think Gillespie is awesome. I, wish he didn't like fishing so much, but that's another conversation. Gamrot, and then in his last fight against Dawson.
He also hates being punched.
That's very, or yeah, and kicked in the head.
He does not react well to being punched.
He does not. He'd rather be the fisherman than the fish in that scenario.
And
but
you know what? I get it. Me too, buddy.
100%. But the thing that all 4 of those last losses have in common is the dudes he is fighting have attempted numerous takedowns. In fact, 41 in total. 19 of them have been successful. King Green does not do that. He's thrown 1, max 1 in his last 10 fights, and so most of the time it's 0. He's generally getting no control time, and he's been viciously KO'd, or viciously finished, I should say, in all of his recent wins for the most part. In fact, all of his last 5, 4 of them are in the very first round. CDF can crack. He last knocked down Michael Johnson in 2023, which is not the most difficult thing to do, but he was able to capitalize on that and, finish the fight in kind. So, yeah, 40 years old versus 38, 2 veterans. I have this as a 4-star fight. I think you got to play a ton of this one because either King Green's going to get finished or Green is going to come, and finish Diego in the first round, second round as well. So I think this one could pay off decently. It is a minus 155, which I keep seeing that ITD number in a bunch of fights. So it's not guaranteed by any means, but both guys are good. Both guys have holes in their defense. I just think that King Green, Ferreira, obviously, when he gets taken down that many times and controlled, he's not winning the fight. King Green's not going to do that. So give me CDF to get the win here. Hopefully we see a finish from one of these guys because I'll probably be a bit overweight to both of them. Not as heavy as whatever the 5-star one the Meerschaert Oleksiejczuk fight or the other one I'm talking about, but I'll be pretty decently, have decent ownership in these with these 2 guys.
Yeah, I'm looking to get overweight here too, probably just a touch on each guy, because I do think it's a tough one to call. King Green keeps getting finished. Ferreira's looking better, but I mean, King Green, his losses, by the way, they're on screen right now. Mauricio Hufi, Paddy Pimblett, Jalen Turner. Okay, those are nothing to sneeze at either. I'm going to side with King Green. I think his striking is a little bit better. I think he can use his movement and frustrate Diego Ferreira just a little bit, but it's not a super confident pick. I'm not going to be betting King Green. The odds say we should see a finish here. And just the trending is these first round finishes as these guys get older. I think I am going to be a little bit overweight. I don't think either guy winning is going to break me here, but for a straight up pick, I'm going to lean slightly towards the side of King Green because I think his striking is just a little bit better. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk about Tim Elliott and Kai Asakura. Asakura minus 300, Tim Elliott plus 250. Fight goes to decision, slightly favored. I know they're flyweights, but the most Vegas is saying we heavily lean toward Asakura and 50-50 for this fight to finish. Your DraftKings salaries: Asakura is 9,200, Elliott 7,000. Monk, his second fight in the UFC. Asakura gets a giant step down from going from Pantoja to Elliott. Nothing against Tim Elliott, just Alexander Pantoja is trying to make a run of becoming the flyweight GOAT. I don't throw that around loosely like a lot of people do these days, but my man's making a run at it. Asakura, much more favorable matchup here, you would think. Who you got?
Yeah, 100% there. I do like Asakura, but I don't know how much I like this fight. I have Tim Elliott as a decent punt, as long as he can get through the fight without getting knocked out. That's the key here. I think his path to victory is clearly the takedowns. It's clearly the control time, which he does have in his back pocket. But against guys like Chimaev, even Nicolau, Royval, Figueiredo, anytime he takes a step up in competition, it does not go well. He's beat Sumadarji with takedowns and some control time. Only landed 10 strikes in that fight. I guess it was only 4 minutes, but he subbed him. That's probably the best name. Well, no, Tajir Ulanbekov is the best name he's beaten in his last few. Other than that, it's like Ryan Benoit, Espinosa, Victor Altamirano. Like, these guys aren't fantastic at all. And Tim Elliott is able to capitalize on takedowns and control time in that one. He could do that against Asakura, but we don't really know that for sure. I mean, Pantoja was able to, but like you said, I'm right there with you, making an argument for the flyweight GOAT. Was taken down 3 times, controlled for 3 minutes, and completely outstruck. Pantoja just dominated him in every aspect. So we're hoping to see Kai Asakura, show us why he belongs in the UFC, and I think this is a good matchup for him to do that. That said, I don't know that he scores very well because Tim Elliott, while having been finished in 7 of 13 professional fights, all of those are submissions except for one. He's never been KO'd in the UFC. He's never even been knocked down in the UFC. Now, he is 38 years old, so Asakura could show that, the 31-year-old power. He's going to, might be able to show Tim Elliott his first KO or knockdown, I should say, in the UFC. That will have to come, we'll have to see if that happens. But yeah, I just don't know that he's going to score well outside of a knockout. And if Tim Elliott can't get any wrestling, I don't see how he's going to score great at all either. So I like Kai Asakura a little bit, but I'm not playing a ton of him, especially at 9,200. Maybe in cash, I'd think about it. But even then, I have too many unanswered questions to really make that decision now, at least this early in the week. So Tim Elliott, a decent punt if you really need salary savings at 7,000. If he does not, with his solid chin that he has shown, he doesn't get knocked down, I think he could score 35 points at 7K. That might be all right. So give me Asakura for the win, but I'm questioning his DraftKings upside.
Yeah, I don't need him in cash. I get it, but it's also it's only minus 125 to go to decision. There are 2, I think, in the main card where I like better in cash, then let me play whoever the fuck else I want, pretty much. So we're going to get there. I'll give you what I think my 2 favorite cash dogs are. I'm on Asakura in this spot, but I'm underweight to the fight overall. I think it likely goes to decision. Kai could get a finish. I don't think Elliott's very live. I really like Asakura's skill set a lot here. I think he wins. I'll be under on Elliott. Field maybe on Asakura. I'll look at ownership, but not a fight I'm heavily exposed to. I do think Kai Asakura wins with the striking. Maybe a late finish, but I kind of want to bet him by decision, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Not at all. All right, let's move on and let's talk. Oh, look, hint, hint. Michael Venom Paige, Jared Cannonier. Paige minus 190-ish. Comeback on Cannonier is about plus 160. Fight goes to decision. Minus 225. Expected to see all 3 rounds of action. DraftKings salaries. Paige is 8,700. Cannonier is 7,500. Monk, who you got?
Man, I will fade Michael Paige until the day one of us is no longer walking this earth, and I'll continue to do that for this card. I like Jared Cannonier for GPPs, but I'm still picking Michael Paige to win. So I'm just fading him overall at 8,700. He scores like 50 points on average, guys, in a win. That's got to be a record for most nothing ever done in fights as a whole. Jared Cannonier has very good striking numbers, as you would imagine. However, those numbers are coming like almost 6.5 strikes a minute against RoboCop. That dude loves to get hit. Against Marvin Vettori, 10 strikes a minute. That dude can't not get hit. Sean Strickland, 5.6. He loves getting punched in the face. Derek Brunson, same thing. Kelvin Gastelum, only 3.5. So that's his one win where he didn't allow or didn't land a ton of strikes overall. But in some of these other fights, it's less than 4 against Izzy, less than 4 against Nasruddin, almost at 3 against Kyle Bahayo. Like, he's not getting his striking off against these guys with decent defense. And no matter how much I can't stand Michael Paige in the cage, his defense, striking wise, is pretty freaking good. He's just going to point fight you. It's like Stephen Thompson if Stephen Thompson was like boring. I know Stephen Thompson rarely scores well anymore, but Michael Paige is like the most boring version possible of that karate point style type fighting. Yeah, he could get a finish here and there. I don't think that's going to come against Jared Cannonier, who has only been finished, I guess, 3 times in the UFC via KO, TKO. One of those was against Imavov, and that's the only time in his last 10 fights. So, I mean, beating Kevin Holland, Shara Magomedov is decent. Losing to Ian Machado Gary, I mean, there's no real shame in that. Although, in none of those fights, he even came close to sniffing 3 strikes a minute. He doesn't go for takedowns. I guess he did against Holland. And that's the only time he got control time as well. So, yeah, I'm picking Paige. And if I'm picking Paige, I'm fading the shit out of him for sure because he doesn't score well ever. And Cannonier, I think, is fine for GPPs as long as he can get to a decision. But at minus 225, that is likely. I'm just nervous about how many points he's going to score via striking. He doesn't really go for takedowns too much. He doesn't control majority of the grappling time.
But he
doesn't attempt them.
He can in this matchup.
He could, but at the same time, Venom Page's movement, it's going to be pretty difficult for him to get a hold of MVP. I think he only lands 0.15 takedowns per 5 minutes. I don't know. I just don't see it. That's why that reason is why I'm playing Jared Cannonier in GPPs for the possible takedown upside. But in my head, I just don't see it playing out like that. I see it playing out like every other terrible Michael Venom Page fight there is. So yeah, big fade for the favorite here.
So I'm going to pick Cannonier. I think Venom Page has got a little bit too much hype here. As we're going to talk about the Bellator hype in a second. Everybody loved to shit on all over Pitbull. Why aren't we shitting all over Page and Pico? Like why isn't this carrying through?
It is for me.
Cannonier's takedown offense, by the way, is a little bit skewed because he never did them early in his career. Remember, he was the air traffic controller, got into the UFC with a full-time job, slowly has gotten better, cut weight, had success at middleweight, starting to go for takedowns. Not that he's predominantly a takedown guy, but his numbers get skewed a little bit. I think he can mix it up much better. He had 4 takedowns against Marvin Vettori. He took down Nasruddin Imavov. I think that he's got potential there. So I think his volume, higher, takedown upside, higher. I'll take a shot in the dog here, even if Paige wins. You're right, he scores like crap. Last thing to mention here, Cannonier for me is a lock in cash games. You said he's live in GPPs. He's the first dog. Actually, yeah, he's ahead of Drekas, we're going to talk about. The first dog in my cash lineup.
Yeah, how is he only 7,500? That's crazy.
Minus 225 to go to decision, and I think he's live for a win going in my cash lineup. There's just no way around it. So I think his floor is 20 points. Paige will point him. Okay, if I lose it, but I'll take a floor there with a live dog. But give me Cannonier as the straight up pick with all the upside we mentioned. All right, let's talk Jeff Neal, Carlos Prates. Should be a fun one. Prates is minus 240. His cigarette is minus 220. Neal is plus 205. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 180. Your DraftKings salaries for this one. Where is it? Prates is 9,100. Jeff Neal is 7,100. Monk, you love yourself a fight nerd to talk to us about Carlos Prates.
I really do, which is why I surprised myself and I typed GPP fade for Carlos Prates.
Ooh, see, I disagree.
Yeah, I'm going to be very contrarian on this one. I think Jeff Neal's fine in all formats because he goes to decision. He loves going to decision. This is minus 180, and I don't see that happening. Jeff Neal has only been finished once in the UFC. It was via submission.
3 of his last 4 have ended in finish, though.
That is true. Let's see. Yeah, that would be Shavkat, Luke. That's true. So but I don't think at the same time that he's going to finish Carlos Prates. The Shavkat one was really the one that I was kind of looking at, and that was late in the fight. How many points?
To be fair, the people he's lost to who haven't finished him are Thompson, Magny, and Gary. Not exactly murderer's row of finishers.
That's true. That is true. And
For
Prates is
whatever it's worth.
And Prates is a murderer for sure in that regard. He's only been to decision once. So it is a bit of a risky contrarian take. I'm picking Carlos Prates. I love the guy. I love the fighting nerds. If he gets held against the cage by Jeff Neal for any amount of time, this is going to get extended. If he doesn't finish him in the first or early second round, he's probably not going to score the greatest. And he is 9,100 this week, which isn't the most expensive, but it's not the cheapest thing either. I think Oleksiejczuk probably has a higher ceiling, to be honest, and for $100 cheaper. That is arguable, of course, because Jeff Neal doesn't have the greatest striking defense. He allows too many strikes at 5.44 a minute. And if you're going to do that against Prates, maybe it's not a great thing to be contrarian on this fight. But like I said, he's never been KO'd. He's rare. I don't even know, has he even been knocked down? He probably has. He's been knocked down at least once, maybe twice, but still the dude's got 13 UFC fights. He's 34. He is durable. And that is the reason why I'm kind of being contrarian on this one. Normally I'd be all over Prates at 9,100. I'd say that's a steal. Get him in your lineup. He's going to knock this dude out. You don't really knock out Jeff Neal. It could happen here for the first time, but I just haven't seen it yet. So I'm rooting for Prates. I am probably, I don't need him in cash, so I don't know, man. I put GPP fade. I'm going to kind of stand by it. I'm not fading him like I am MVP by any means, but I just think if this one gets extended, it's going to be tough to pay off. And that minus 180, that seems way too wide for me as far as to finish inside the distance.
Yeah, sorry, you can tell I'm a little distracted. The Contender Series main event's about to end in DQ. That's a flat out headbutt on the ground.
Oh no.
I'm watching in slow-mo. That was bad. That was real bad. He took a really vicious headbutt right to the orbital.
Oh no.
I actually hope this guy doesn't try and continue, because he's going to be fucked up and get like either take a no contest. You'll probably get a DQ the way the headbutt was, but take the no contest or DQ and come back, because that was bad. All right, sorry, I'm a little distracted. I think this one is going to end and finish because Prates gets so reckless, but it's not all in for the reasons you mentioned. They're all striking, shown some durability. It's not a for sure case of this is going to end up on the optimal, because there's tons of fights I don't love though. I'm going to be overweight to this fight, so I am going to monk on opposite sides here. I do like Carlos Prates. I think Neal is live for GPP, but I actually think Prates is better everywhere. I think he's pretty live in all formats. I think he's much better than Jeff Neal. I like him quite a bit. He could even get a takedown. I mean, he took down Neil Magny. I think there's just tons and tons of upside here. So give me Carlos Prates. I'm on the opposite side of Monk. I think he's live in all formats. I'll be slightly overweight, and this stupid idiot's going to try and fight.
Oh my god, dude! What?
This is a bad decision.
That's tough though, because in his head, all he hears is Dana saying, "You got to fight for." So I get it, but at the same time, just come back, dude.
Maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought, but I'm waiting for him to take one. It was his right eye, or his left eye. I'm waiting for him to take one right hand, and we'll see if he's
looks
okay.
like Donald Cerrone or something.
Fucking bad. Don't blow your nose. Oh fuck!
Yeah,
I blew
right.
my nose.
Oh my eye! Fucking. Oh, what is your 40th fight? You haven't figured that out?
Yeah. All right, co-main event time. Aaron Pico, Lerone Murphy. Pico minus 185. I'm a little surprised by that, but he is everyone's favorite hype train. Lerone Murphy is plus 160. Not that he's not skilled, but I don't know. Fight goes to decision, though. Minus 180 to see all 3 rounds. It is, I believe, our mid-range fight, which is a little surprising as we got odds value here on Pico. So I'm wondering if Pico's going to get higher on than I think he should be at minus 185 and 8,200. Lerone Murphy, 8,000 plus 160. Odds say we should be playing Aaron Pico. I think I have a different opinion. Monk, where are you going?
I agree with you. People hate Lerone Murphy. They call him boring. He doesn't, he's a decision merchant. People say decision merchant, like that's supposed to be some kind of insult. Like he doesn't
to be fair, he is boring.
That's true, but he still gets his fucking win money, so he doesn't give a shit what you call him. He's got 16 wins, 8 in the UFC, and he's not showing any signs of slowing down. That said, his his wins against Emmett and against Ige were pretty less than inspiring, that's for sure. But the Barbosa fight was clearly his best showing. Did what he was supposed to do in every other fight that he's had. Aaron Pico. So there's two ways to look at this fight. It's either Pico's from Bellator, so he sucks and he's undervalued, or he's overvalued. He hasn't fought anyone. Blah blah blah. The other way is Murphy sucks. Decision merchant. He's gonna lose. Aaron Pico's the shit. Wait and find out. I'm somewhere in the middle, but I'm leaning Lerone Murphy. I picked him outright. Got this as a 3-star fight because there's so many questions here, but I kind of do think that Pico hasn't really fought anyone fantastic. This is probably going to be his best opponent that he's ever fought. Murphy has fantastic striking defense, landing 4.5 and allowing less than 2.5. The takedown defense isn't good, but he does end up with 60% of the control time. So he's getting up or reversing position, which we do love to see. His striking goes up every single round. His takedowns and control also go up every single round, which is a really good sign. And he's just one tough out, man. Like, no matter how you've got him in the fight, whether you think he's on the back foot, he somehow finds a way to win 2 rounds of the 3, or he'll win the split decision. On paper, he barely lost the Emmett fight, and he lost the Ige fight by a bit more than that. They were still close, but I mean on paper, just according to the stats. But he still found a way to win. So Pico's got a lot to do here coming into this one. Like I said, his best opponent so far. I don't personally see how he wins. He'd have to KO Murphy because he's got 9 KOs, just 2 submissions. So he's obviously going to be looking for the KO. If he's smart, he would try to get him down, but I don't even know if he has great takedowns against somebody at this level. That's, Murphy's only got a 52% takedown defense.
Murphy's going to have the wrestling advantage here.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, Josh Emmett, Ige took him down, 5 out of 14 times. So guys have attempted a ton of takedowns on Murphy for the most part, and they've landed them, and they've still lost the fight. So I think this should not quite be flipped, but it should be way narrower than it is. I guess though, yeah, this is the mid-range fight. I do think it should be flipped. So yeah, I'll take Lerone Murphy at 8K to hopefully score a serviceable amount of points. He never does that. I guess it's 91 is what he averages. That's good, but he's only made the optimal 1 out of 7 times. So never, obviously hasn't put any of his opponents optimal because he's never lost. But yeah, I'm going kind of against the grain. I think Pico's going to be over-owned in my opinion. And so I'm going to take Lerone Murphy to win by decision here.
Yeah, so this show's going to be over on Lerone Murphy. I agree. I think this line is too wide. I don't love that I got to pay 8K for Murphy based on the line. That kind of sucks. I think even if Pico wins, though, it's going to be by decision and not score attempt.
Yep.
Fine. I think Murphy's got the grappling upside. Both guys are live for a finish. I'm not going to fade Aaron Pico. I likely go under, especially because I think he's going to get over-owned based on his odds and salary. I think he's going to get some extra ownership there that I don't like. So I'll be over on Lerone, under on Pico. I think Lerone's got striking to hang in there with him. The grappling upside, finds a way to win, cheaper price tag, less owned. Check for me.
Yep.
I'll lean towards Lerone Murphy. Should be an interesting fight here. I'm a little surprised at how wide this line has gotten. All right, let's go and let's talk about the main event. Before we talk about the main event, smash the like button, share with your friends. Don't go anywhere afterwards. We got to talk Killshot. That is our patented move to help you win some GPPs. Now we can talk about Dricus du Plessis. The champion is the dog at plus 190. Khamzat minus 225. Fight ends inside the distance. Should be a big old number here while fight odds loads. It is minus 325. Under 2.5 rounds is minus 125. Really hurting the stackability of this fight in cash games. Talk more about that on that show's Thursday. Your DraftKings salaries. Khamzat's 8,900. Dricus is 7,300. Monk, where are you going?
The utter disrespect that we are seeing here. Dricus
right?
at 70. This is fucking crazy. Like 7,300. He was 71 against Strickland. He absolutely, I guess didn't. I was going to say smash, but he went 25 minutes, won a split decision. But his numbers were better in every category. Other than that, he's not even been close to this salary. It is insane. Khamzat Chimaev, we know what he can do. But outside of the first round, he hasn't looked great all the time. Especially against, once he started fighting actual competition, he smashed Whitaker, literally smashed his head. That was disgusting. Against Kamaru, 4 of 12, So that was a good showing. But where am I thinking of? Oh, the Burns fight. I guess Burns was 0-5. It didn't get as much control time as I thought, but still, it was a close-ish fight. He got outstruck by Gilbert Burns there. We only saw 2 takedowns with 2 minutes of control against Kevin Holland. That was a 2-minute fight. Usman, it was 4 minutes, half the fight controlled. Whitaker, same kind of thing as he smashed him. So I just don't think Dricus is. I think he's above every one of those guys as far as a level goes. I think this is the best fighter that Khamzat Chimaev has faced. A lot of people are going to be on Chimaev, rightfully so. I have this as a 5-star fight. Both guys' defenses are super suspect. They both control a ton of grappling time. Obviously, Khamzat controls way more, but Dricus lands almost a takedown per 5 minutes, which is just under what Khamzat lands at, like 1.4. He's landing more strikes per minute at 6. He's also absorbing more at almost 5. But if he can get out of the first round here, which I think is very feasible, like this is going to be possibly a close fight, or it's just going to be Dricus for, outside of 3, 4, and 5, or in 3, 4, and 5. We've never seen Khamzat in a 4th round. I think is this the first? No, he had he's had 2 5-round fights. One was Whitaker, one was Holland. They both finished in like 3 minutes or less. Never seen this dude in the 4th. If this gets there, I think he's in a lot of trouble here. Dricus just doesn't die. He never freaking dies, and he always comes out of nowhere in that 2nd or 3rd round and just lands a huge shot or lands a big takedown and ends up with all the control time. So I think obviously I'm talking up Dricus here because I picked him to win, and I think this is, a criminal line at this point. But that said, Khamzat could come out here and dominate, in ways of his own. So I'm playing all of this fight 100% in GPPs. I'll be well over the field on Dricus most likely at that point, but I'll have at least field weight to Chimaev, which I assume will be minimum 40%. So I'm looking 60-40, 65-35, something like that. But I really like Dricus here. I just think the line is crazy. At 7,300, you have to play him.
Yeah, I kind of just agree. I'm on Dricus as well. So double underdogs here in the main event. Khamzat could absolutely smash, but let's talk about this. Cash games, under 2.5 rounds. You either need to pick a side or play neither. I don't think your stack is going to pay off here. Unless you get the Khamzat domination early and then Dricus comes on late, which is possible. There's other spots I think to play, gamble a little bit. We saw Khamzat, I think, fade against Gilbert Burns. Yeah, and then he pulled a bitch ass move against Kevin Holland. I'll hold that till the day. That was a pussy ass move at that level after you miss weight and look like a fucking fool. But okay. Majority decision against Usman. Cool. And yeah, he looked phenomenal last time out against Robert Whitaker, who was clearly starting to fall off. Will be one of the best middleweights ever. But we can agree, Bobby Knuckles is starting to fall off a little bit. Dricus, on the other hand, people always doubt him, and then he seems to come on and do things he shouldn't. If this fight gets past, if Dricus has success early or gets past the early rounds, I think he takes over late.
Yep.
For sure. And it's really Khamzat by smash or Dricus to survive and put him away. I think Dricus survives and puts him away. It is a dog pick, clearly. I'm more likely to pay Dricus in all formats. I'm interested to see how heavily owned Khamzat's going to be. I might end up underweight on Khamzat, but this is a 5-star fight. This is one I'm going to get a ton of. But if Khamzat's going to come in at 60% owned, no thanks. I'll play 35, 40-ish% and move on about my day. Kind of see what ownership shake out as, but I do lean towards the Dricus side as well. Now, do not go anywhere. As I said, we got to talk Killshot's Killshot. If you don't know, it's an under-owned play that can help you win a GPP. It means no main event, so Dricus is not eligible. Something sneaky, can't be chalk, can be a favorite. There's no underdog rule, but something sneaky to help you win a GPP. Monk, you got one locked and loaded here?
I think so. I try to keep it, the arbitrary under 77 and blah, blah, blah.
So
but this week I'm going to pick it is. That's true. I'm going to pick an underdog, but it's going to be a little more expensive. people hate this
Well,
guy.
no.
No one's going to be rostering him. I'm picking
Yeah.
Lerone Murphy. I
I like it.
I think he's going to be criminally underowned, and he could come out here and just smash Aaron Pico for all we know. Like, he could look like the Barbosa fight for 3 rounds where he just worked him over for every single round. And yeah, like you said, I think, even though his wrestling is, on paper, the percentages are questionable, he should have the upside there. He should have the striking upside probably, as long as he doesn't get KO'd, which I don't really see happening. Not that it can't, but I'm not predicting that. I like this play at 8K. He's going to be criminally underowned, I think.
Give me Nursultan Ruziboev. I think we're overreacting a little bit to the Stoltzfus loss. I think he's got grappling upside. Think he's going to bounce back. Give me Ruziboev. I like that fight to be a sneaky GPP option all around, but I'll go with Nursultan for my kill shot. By the way, honorable mention, I almost went, just to be different and piss people off, I almost threw out Loopy Godinez as a favored kill shot. I don't want to be caught underweight on Loopy. So that'll be your honorable mention backup. Those are 11 fights. There are 3 more we're going to talk about in the DFS Army Discord and cheat sheets and other shows this weekend. Monk, make sure you follow Monk at Monk Maddox. Monk MMATICS. Believe there is an X account or YouTube channel. Go check that out. I am at Sniper Wins, all one word, X and YouTube as well. Subscribe over at DFS Army, link in the description. You got access to the optimizers, more tools, Discord chat, all the good shit. Go and check that out. NFL season is coming, crush there. NASCAR rolling, etc., etc. Monk, you got anything else before we get out of here?
That is it. I'm really looking forward to this one. Hamzat's wrestling and takedowns, or wrestling and control time, completely fall off after the first round, so be aware of that. Let's go DDP. Let's go and make the optimal lineup again. Why not? Why not? I'm going to be watching your show. I missed it last week. I want that optimal lineup.
I mean, calling for 2 weeks in a row. I mean, I'm going to do my victory lap and try and get my views, as I'm going to be perfectly honest. But 2 weeks in a row is rough. But you know what? We're going to make a run at it. We're going to throw it up. At the very least, I'm hoping to show some people some strategy about how to break down these GPPs. Just, you need to be basing everything off of ownership, every decision.
Yep.
But we'll talk about more about that. And the cash is going overlooked these days. I think I've done the cash show the last 3 weeks now, and I think it's definitely cash twice. And once, I throw out a couple options, and one would have cashed and one didn't. So it kind of depends where you landed there. But don't sleep on the cash games.
Nope.
All right, that's what we got, guys. Smash the like button, share with your friends. See you in the Discord for you DFS Army members. Good luck at UFC at 319. It'll be Monk solo next week for this podcast. If you're watching the DFS Army channel, I'm going to try and get into my channel. I'll be on a cruise ship, but I'm going to try and fill in and do a little bit of content, whether it's shorts, posts, and Discord, X. Make sure you follow. I'm going to have some stuff out and about, but I don't know if I got a set schedule in mind. I'll be relaxing with the family.
Yes.
So
as you should.
Good luck, guys. We'll see you when we see you. Take care.